Hey guys, Jessica here. So I'm super excited for today's review. We're going to be talking about the Motif Roam. This is a new portable pump that was just released by Motif. This is designed to be a covered fully by insurance portable. So it is important to keep in mind that this is designed to be a cheaper portable. But let's talk about this because there are some good things. There are definitely some drawbacks. It does come with cups, which are an updated version of the original Motif cups. I was not in love with the original Motif cups, but I did like the NCVi version, and I am happy to report, like right off the bat, the minor changes to this are a huge improvement. When I tested the original Motif cups with the Motif Roam, we had a lot of like intermittent suction drops. So I think the issue was related to the duckbill. So the previous Motif cups had a really small duckbill, and that was exactly what was coming with the NCVi cups, but the material they were using, it used to get itself bunched up, and until it like fully expanded and could then recollapse, it was losing suction. So we did improve that, which is awesome. The diaphragm does sit more flush. I actually really like these cups. They snap together really easy. Now that we've fixed the duckbill and the diaphragm movement from the previous model, the Motif cups just went from like a, ooh, I don't know about that, to a solid contender, with the exception to that advice being Motif made it so that we can only get the replacement parts as part of a kit. So it is more expensive to keep these cheap cups operating because of how they're doing that. I am hoping that NCVi is going to start selling their brand of it, or that Motif will catch on and do what consumers are asking. And the reason I say it that very specific way is that Motif is an arm of Airflow. And when Motif was their own independent company, their motto on their website said that their goal was to create profitable products for DMEs. So they were a DME focused company. They've now been acquired by a DME. You are not actually their customer. The DME is their customer. So they're trying to produce products that the DME can sell to you. That is a little bit of a perverse incentive in the market. It does create room for the company to do some nonsensical things in terms of not delivering products that moms want, not delivering the accessories the way the consumer is asking for. And that is what we see with the Motif cups with the replacement parts, is that it's just that is not what moms are asking. I do not need a new set of inserts in every size every time I need replacement parts or something. But that is the most profitable way for Airflow to sell replacement parts. So that is something to consider. But the Motif Roam, we have actually seen this pump before, and I will link the review down below. This is the same body as the NCVi pump that we reviewed before, and we really did like this pump. This pump was retailing for about $30 to $50, with 30 being the most common price. And at $30 paired with the NCVi cups, this was actually a stellar performer when you consider the performance versus the value. This is retailing for $180. So right away, we have a price discrepancy. What I will tell you though, this is not a case of Motif went out and white labeled something. These two pumps are not the same. So when you hear mom saying favorable things about this one, it doesn't apply to this. I will link the YouTube short where you can actually see we opened up these two pumps to look at the internals, because the NCVi version has alternating suction, which means there's two valves and the left side and the right side pull alternately. So it's left, right, left, right. This has a single valve in it and it pulls both sides simultaneously. I actually wish they would have left this as a alternating suction pump, because then the complaint that I have about this pump is that the programming when it's on standard stimulation and expression is beyond subpar. It is really, really short suction. So suction goes up really quick, drops, and then it holds. There's huge pauses. We know from the Similary dual motor pump that is really the one that comes to mind for that, or the Pumpables Super Genie, that pause in between pulls can be really disruptive for a large number of moms. That is why Pumpables promising to give us a Super Genie that has a pull like the Genie Advanced is something that moms are anxiously awaiting. So why would you use that suction pattern? It wasn't a suction pattern that we had on the original NCVi. So using that suction pattern doesn't make any sense. And when they released this, it was just a few weeks after they released the Motif Aura Glow. So when one company releases two pumps that close together and the suction pattern is so wildly different, that means whoever is at the helm does not understand consistency and quality within a brand. That is a huge problem. So we have this really short pull, and then we also have the fact that the settings that they chose, the programming on stimulation and expression, they're junk. Guys, they're junk. They have it so slow. Like, yes, it starts at 85 cycles per minute at 48 mmHg, but it only gets to about 130, but it drops down to 38 cycles per minute. 38 cycles per minute on a stimulation mode is honestly, I am secondhand embarrassed for this company to have released something dropping to 38 cycles per minute on a stimulation mode. That is not good pump science. That is not something I expect a manufacturer of the Motif Luna, a manufacturer of the Motif Aura Glow, a manufacturer of the Motif Duo. They've had two portables before, and they knew they would have had to know that the orange version actually was faster than the gray version, and the orange version was actually kind of a beloved pump. Wasn't anything super special, but it did the job. So why, when you slowed it down and saw that you got increased complaints on this, would you turn around and slow this down even more? Other than that's not where they think people are going to be using this pump. So this pump does have the cluster pumping technology that we see on the Motif Aura Glow. On the cluster pumping mode though, I'm gonna post a blog on this and I'm gonna add the suction graphs to it so that you can see for yourself. The suction pattern that they use on the cluster pumping does not match the speeds, the strength, or the suction pattern. And by suction pattern, we mean what does the wave actually look like? On cluster pumping, it's nice and smooth, which means they put all of their effort into their cluster pumping mode. Had they taken the settings from the cluster pumping mode and given us a standard stimulation and expression to match that, this pump had the potential to be a winner. We need more portable pump options because right now what we have is a lot of big names who have failed to innovate for so long and pumps that have not been really enhanced or innovated in a long period of time. So Motif had an opportunity here and they kind of squandered it by giving us a stimulation and expression mode that don't work. Now, cluster pumping mode on the Motif Aura Glow has proven to be really hard to get it nailed down. We're still going through the testing. We've had to reprogram the machine that I use to test the suction and the cycle speeds to help better accommodate getting that programming mapped out so that we can understand exactly what's happening there. This one was actually really simple. Most of these pumps that are using alternating suction on 5-minute cycles, so it's going to be your LV, your UFI, they're starting on stimulation mode and then moving to expression mode. Cluster pumping mode is the exact opposite. So it started on expression and then moved to stimulation. And it moved at 6-minute intervals, which did make it a little bit trickier because you have a very limited display. Let me turn this on and see if you can actually see if it still holds battery. You can't see a lot. All it tells you is the minutes and a level and the mode. You can't tell exactly what's going on the cluster pumping or the general pumping mode. General pumping mode on this Motif Roam did work, whereas general pumping mode on the Motif Aura Glow was really intermittent. It kept not working. So general pumping mode means 2-minute stimulation, and then it appears to be 8 minutes expression. And that would alternate 3 times for your 30-minute pump session. So on cluster pumping, it's 6-minute, it's switching between. So 6 minutes of expression, 6 minutes of stimulation. I still think that this cluster pumping mode has a lot of potential. I am actually really excited because we do have pumps that are programmable. So we have the Pumpables Genie Advanced, we have the Ardo Alyssa, and then now we do have the Mom Cozy Air 1, which also has some programming options. So I am really excited to get these mapped out because what I want to do is apply those programs to other pumps and see, are we seeing that, maybe we had it wrong. Maybe going stimulation to expression is not encouraging the number of letdowns that we need. There is so much that we don't know about what is the best pump science. We know what doesn't work, but we don't always know what's going to work the best. So this is Motif may be onto something there. And for that, I am really excited. I don't hate the Motif Roam. If you're going to be using the cluster pumping mode, this could be a fantastic pump. I definitely found the cluster pumping mode to trigger a lot of that letdown sensation. I feel like I would not be unhappy pumping with the Motif Roam. However, is this a $180 pump? Absolutely not. If this pump was $99.99, I would actually probably have a much more favorable review over it because I wouldn't expect them to have put that care and attention to detail. But at $180, this is directly competing with the Ardo Alyssa, the Baby Buddha, and the Pumpables Genie Advanced. And what I will tell you is that the Pumpables Genie Advanced should be able to be programmed to do the cluster pumping mode or pretty darn close to it. I will have more information on that in the coming weeks. So if you are a Pumpables Genie Advanced user and would like to reach out to me, I am happy to give you the programming so you can test it for me. So, if you're watching this video and you're like, I want to give this a try, let me know because I need moms who are willing to be guinea pigs for me to see, does this actually work? But at $180, no, this is not a good value. If you were having to pay cash for this, that is a problem because you should not pay cash for this. Motif did not give you something that is worth $180. But then we come into the question of, so if it's not worth the cash, is it worth my insurance benefit? Probably not, given that you can use that same insurance benefit in most cases to obtain another portable that is going to be a better bet. And given the fact that, you know, maybe I would feel differently if they paired it with flanges and with the cups at the same time. It's really just going to depend. If they're going to pair it with the clunky flanges they did with the Duo, this is probably a lost cause. But at $180, I don't know that this is actually like a good benefit. I think they're onto something with the cluster pumping. And if they truly have decided and tested and seen that this is good, then we should see it applied to the Motif Luna. And if we never see it applied to the Motif Luna, then we know that all this was a gimmick that somebody gave to them. They haven't really tested it. They think it's going to sell. It will probably work well enough for a lot of moms. But I also think a lot of moms are going to get taken advantage of because there's no way that this pump has the durability for a heavy pumping mom. This is an occasional use pump. This is probably something that I would recommend for somebody who just needed essentially a cheap portable that was going to work for intermittent pumping because I do think that intermittent pumping is hard with a lot of pumps, and I think the cluster pumping mode may be a potential to kind of overcome that. But I think we're going to be able to take that technology and use it on other pumps and likely on higher quality pumps that have better performance records. And anytime a company starts making profit, like profit over product durability, product success, I don't think it's something that I can genuinely recommend. And I know that's really hard because I love the Motif Luna. I do. I don't hate the Motif Aura Glow. I think it's a little bit of a money grab, and I think the Motif Roam is definitely a money grab, and that's a bit of a problem. So if this is what's available on your insurance, we could probably make this work. If you don't do well with the cluster pumping mode, then we are basically up a creek without a paddle because the suction pattern on the stimulation and expression is a joke. There's no reason for this. I don't even know how this happened, how it got past testing, or how no one thought, oh, we should probably fix that. It just goes to show that they're not worried about making a high quality product. This was an attempt to make a product that would be profitable over performing correctly. So that's my thoughts on the Motif Roam. I will link the videos below. If you are a Ardo Alyssa or Pumpables Genie Advanced user and you want to see if we can do the programming for that, let me know. We should be ready to have people start testing that probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully this helps somebody out there. Let me know your questions. Let me know your thoughts. If you're using the Motif Roam, let us know how it's going. I don't I don't hate it, and I'm really hopeful that cluster pumping mode is going to make up for the inefficiencies that they introduced. I do like the cups, so I do think that that is a benefit. And I think the cups could be actually the most valuable part of the pump. So hopefully that helps, and happy pumping.